this is Robbie Parker, and I'm going to be joined by Big D from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, and we're going to be reviewing the 2001 movie Monsters, Inc. So, in this movie, a lovable James P. Sullivan and his wisecracking sidekick Mike Wazowski are the top scare team at Monsters, Inc., the scare processing factory in Monstropolis. When a little girl named Boo wanders into their world, it's the monsters who are scared silly, and it's up to Mike and Sully to keep her out of sight and get her back home safely. So, before I get into my part, I'm going to let Big D do his part like I always do on my collabs, so take it away, Big D.
Hey everyone, this is the Big D, and I'm going to be collabing with Robbie once again. This time we're going to be talking about Disney and Pixar's 2001 animated buddy comedy flick, Monsters Incorporated. Now, the film was directed by Pete Docter, who would later go on to direct other Disney Pixar films like Up, Inside Out, and Soul. It features a big all-star cast of voices including John Goodman, Billy Crystal, Steve Buscemi, James Coburn, Jennifer Tilly, and Mary Gibbs. The film focuses on two monsters. James P. Sullivan, or Sully, was a really big hairy blue monster with purple spots, and his one-eyed partner and best friend Mike Wazowski. Sully and Mike work at the titular company in Monsters Incorporated, which generates power by scaring human children. However, the monster world believes that the children are toxic, and when a human little girl named Boo sneaks into the factory, she must be returned home before it's too late. Now, I really think this is a pretty fun film, and I really like the setting of Monsters Incorporated, especially with all those monsters that we see all around. But I really liked it because of Sully and Mike. They are absolutely two great characters. There are other great characters in this film, including Randall Boggs, a rival of Sully's, as well as the CEO of Monsters Inc., Henry J. Waternoose III. The voice acting cast for the film is exceptionally really good. John Goodman is absolutely great as Sully, and Billy Crystal's really great as Mike. They were all good. And Mary Gibbs did the voice of the 3-year-old girl who enters the monster world, Boo. Very good character. We have some other great voices in Monsters Incorporated as well. That includes Steve Buscemi as Randall Boggs, James Coburn in one of his final films before he passed away the following year in 2002 as Henry J. Waternoose III, and Jennifer Tilly as Celia May, Mike's girlfriend. Among some of the other voices we hear in Monsters Inc., they include Bob Pearson, John Ratzenberger, Frank Oz, and Bonnie Hunt, who would later lend her voice of later Disney Pixar films like the Cars franchise and the later Toy Story sequels as well. Monsters Incorporated also had a pretty good score done by Randy Newman, who had recently done the scores for the studio's previous 3 films. And he does a great job with even the song If I Didn't Have You, which was performed by Billy Crystal and John Goodman. The film got nominated for 4 Academy Awards, winning Best Original Song for If I Didn't Have You. It also got nominated for Best Original Score and Best Sound Editing. It was also one of the films to be nominated for the first ever Best Animated Feature, but unfortunately it lost to DreamWorks' big hit Shrek. Still, from what I've seen of this film, I've seen it many times. Monsters Incorporated is definitely a very good Disney Pixar film, and I actually like it because of its atmosphere, its music, its great characters and voice acting. Really good. Well, about 12 years after its release, Disney and Pixar later did a prequel to it called Monsters University, which was pretty good, and also a sequel series to the film in the form of Monsters at Work, which came on Disney Plus in 2021. So, with everything said, Monsters Incorporated is an exceptionally good movie. I would definitely recommend you check it out. So as always, thank you for making me a part of this, Robbie. Until our next collab, this is Big D saying see ya.
Thank you, Big D. It was great to have you on here as always. I always enjoy having you on here and everything. And it's been awesome collabing with you on these Pixar reviews and stuff like I did on my old channel. And stuff. So, I gotta say, this is one of Pixar's funniest movies. Mike and Sully are just totally lovable characters, and Boo is just absolutely adorable and everything. I think that this is just a really, really great movie. The animation holds up pretty well for the most part. There is a few parts in here where it does kind of age a little bit, mostly with Sully's fur and stuff, and some of the snow scenes haven't aged quite as well as they could have and everything. But as far as that, aside from that though, the animation holds up pretty good. The movie has lots of heart and humor. There's a lot of tons of funny and humorous moments throughout this movie, but there's also a lot of really good heartfelt moments and stuff too, especially towards the end of it with Sully and Boo having to leave each other and stuff. Very good heartfelt moment and everything that gets you emotional and stuff, but also it tugs at your heartstrings and stuff, but it also has a bittersweet ending and stuff as well. So I love a lot of that. The voice casts are all excellent in here. John Goodman is one of my favorite actors of all time, and I think he's just perfectly cast as Sully, and same with Billy Crystal. He's an awesome comedian and stuff, and I love him. And I think he was perfectly cast as Mike, and these two are just as important to Monsters Inc. as like Tom Hanks and Tim Allen are to Toy Story and everything. If you couldn't have them in a Monsters Inc. movie together, then it wouldn't work and everything. And they're just perfect in this movie, and everybody else is great too. James Coburn as Waternoose is a really well casted character. He does a great job voicing him. And then of course you got Steve Buscemi as Randall, and he's really great as well too. They're both really good antagonists and stuff and everything for different reasons and stuff, and I like both of them. And I gotta say that this story is just really well written. I've always loved this movie ever since it came out when I was 9 years old and everything. I went to see it for the first time at my favorite movie theater that I grew up at going to as a kid and everything. The theater had just opened and everything, and we saw Monsters Inc. the second weekend that theater had been open, and it was awesome and everything, and I've loved it ever since and everything. And I will say that the last few times I watched it, I felt like this one didn't quite hold up as much as some of the other Pixar movies, but when I rewatched it this time, I felt the joy and stuff that I used to feel when I watched it as a kid and everything. So the nostalgia is starting to kick in for me on this movie and everything. So I gotta say, I still absolutely love it and everything. It's a very, very great movie and everything. And I don't really have any negatives. Like I said, the only one is maybe some of the animation. It hasn't quite aged as well as it could have, especially if you watch like Monsters University, which came out like 12 years later and stuff. You can see a big change in the animation and stuff, but it also isn't enough to ruin the movie for me or anything. So it's just kind of more of a little nitpick than anything. But yeah, so this is just a really, really great movie. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it and everything. So thank you, Big D, for joining me again. I always enjoy having you on here, and I appreciate you being on here. I'm sorry it took so long to get this video out, but now that the holidays are over, I'm planning on working on these more frequently and everything and stuff. So I give Monsters Inc. a 9 out of 10. So anyway, let us know in the comments what you think of this movie, and have a good day, everybody.